here for another update in July. I hope everyone is doing all right, especially if you're in areas that are experiencing a heat wave right now. We're like in our third or fourth heat wave in New York City right now, and it feels like we haven't had a break at all. It just feels like one giant heat wave. So I'm sorry if you can hear my air conditioning in the background. I'll try to be brief and keep this video as short as I can. But yeah, I hope everyone's staying cool if you're in the path of any of this extreme heat or weather, and I hope everyone is staying safe. Yeah, that's about it. This week I am really excited to be going to Stitch NJ on Thursday, so it's another cross-stitching retreat that I'm going to. And other than that, I just have a few projects to share, mainly knitting this time, and I've been meaning to do like a poll or something on my Instagram if people wanted me to split like my cross-stitching and my knitting content, or do you not care if it's all together? I feel like for me it's easier to keep it all together, but I know that some people might not care so much about the knitting, or vice versa, might not care so much about the cross-stitching. But anywho, this update will have 2 cross-stitching projects and the rest will be knitting projects. So I will start off with my cross-stitching. So I worked on my watercolor cat this rotation, and this is a pattern by Banani Stitchery on Etsy, and it's a really cute pattern. I'm gonna pull it up now. This is a tribute piece that I'm making for my black cat Sheba that passed away, and this is what it'll look like when it's done. I'm super excited to be making this for her. I'm hoping to change the eye color to green, since her eyes were, she was a black cat like this but with green eyes instead. So I'm hoping to change the eye color to green, and hoping it doesn't look or hoping I don't mess that up too bad. And I am stitching this. Sorry if I'm a little slow today. It might be better to put me on like 1.5 speed. My brain is like overheating already even though I'm sitting in the air conditioning. I am stitching this project on a piece of 14 count Ida by Color and Cotton in the colorway Cotton Candy, and I'm just doing 2/1. So I am trying, I don't know how long I'll sustain it. I'm trying to do color completion on here. So I did finish all of like this kind of darker gray and light gray stitching, and now I am working, I think it's just filling in some of the black right now, which will take up the majority of the cat. So I am really excited. I think the background will look really good on this as well. It's lighter color and it's done in half stitches. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't started working on the background just yet, because Pattern Keeper doesn't recognize the half stitches, I think, or has a different symbol, or doesn't have a different symbol for them. And so I don't want to mess that up because it is kind of interspersed with whole stitches. But I think it'll look great. So I'm excited for that. So that's my watercolor black cat, and she has been releasing like a lot of different pet patterns. So, and I think she takes requests. So if you are interested in getting like a little pattern of your favorite dog breed or cat color, she really has a lot of pets on her Etsy shop. So that's Banani Stitchery on Etsy. I really love that project. And then my other cross-stitching project was, I did some work on my Summer Cottage by Alma Lynn Hayden. That's part of this Herkshner's book. So there's 4 cottages for each season. This is the summer cottage, and I stitched them in the season that we're in. And then on the back, as you can see, there's a fall, this is the spring, and this is the winter. I'm stitching all of them on a piece of 14 count Ida that I hand dyed myself. Do I have anything else to say about that? No. Oh, and then I'm stitching 3/1 for more coverage on it, which I have been doing when I've been doing 14 count a lot, just on my watercolor black cat for some reason. I decided not to because I think the coverage looked good with just 2 strands. So here I am. So I think last time I showed this on my video last summer, I was doing the back stitching over here, or I had just started, and I am now done with all the back stitching, and this part here is actually the final panel to this piece. And so out of all of my cottages, this one is the one closest to being done, and I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah, so hopefully I'll get a few more hours into this. I'm planning on taking this to Stitch NJ to get some work done on it. I think I had a few other projects in my other video that I said I should also take along, but I'm not quite sure. I haven't picked. It's weird. I like bring almost everything, and then I'm overwhelmed with everything to work on. So I think I'm really just gonna try to target like 3 or 4 pieces or so, and maybe kit up a new start while I'm there. I know this is like probably not going to happen, but I am planning on not spending anything at the retreat because I am getting married next year, and I am really trying to save enough money, and just paying for the hotel and food and the weekend over at New Jersey will be enough for me, especially if I also want to go to Stitch North next year, which I am signed up for the second weekend. So I really am trying to be frugal. I don't need more cross-stitching stuff. I have been enabled recently by Crafting Gamey Jamie. I want to do the board game Sal so dang bad. She showed the square of Ticket to Ride, and that did me in. So I did write it down. I haven't purchased it yet because, as always with a Sal, there's no way I'm ever going to be caught up. But I think of like all the new starts, like I really am wondering, do I want to buy that pattern and try to get it started at Stitch NJ just so I can say it's a start? It does look like it's going to be a massive piece, and so that means it would have to go into my BAP category, and I'd also have to see if I have fabric for it, because I'm really trying not to spend. Anywho, Summer Cottage. So yeah, this one is also almost really close to being done because I'm off during the summer. If you don't know, I'm a teacher. I think I'm finally settling in to break a little bit. It's so weird, I am having Sunday scaries already, even though I have still over a month and a half off, or a little bit under a month and a half, and it's just been a high stress job in recent years. And so during the summer I've been struggling to relax and find time to decompress and bounce back. So have found in recent years when I hit September, I haven't fully like recovered. It's just been very stressful. I want, if you are a teacher feeling that as well, please let me know below so that I know I am not alone, but I am just feeling super duper burnt out. Anywho, I am hoping for a finish on this, and it's funny because I have this book of seasonal cottages, and then I have a book of cross-stitched seasonal quilts as well that I really want to do. So I'm trying to decide that if I finish my summer cottage, should I try to do one of the other seasons, or should I just start the summer seasonal quilt? I do have to find the book that they're in. I think I had work done in my apartment last year, and I had to put a few things in my storage unit, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get to my storage unit to get some things out and sort. So I think the book with the seasonal quilts is in my storage unit. If that isn't bad enough of why I don't have to buy any cross-stitch stuff, because I have an entire box of cross-stitch stuff in storage. But anywho, I'll see if I can find it. We do have to go to storage soon anyway. But yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to say about this. It's really close to being done. I am excited, and hopefully I will be bringing it to the retreat. Whew. Oh, now that I talked about showing this last summer, I do want to celebrate out loud that I have made it. I made it a goal last year to try to commit to updating my YouTube with my projects at least once a month. And I did it for an entire year. I told myself I would do at least one video every month Like, no matter what, I made time to record for at least 20 to 30 minutes, and I didn't think I would stick with it, and I did, and I am so proud of myself. And for anyone here who has watched all of my videos in its entirety, or who has watched me from Twitch back when I live streamed, and who has stuck with me this past year and watched every video, I want to thank you so much. That really means a lot to me when people view my video, leave me likes or comments, or follow my Instagram. It's really important to me, and I want to thank you guys so much. I think the only month I did miss last year, or this year rather, and I'm giving myself a break on, is when my cat passed away in February. So February was the only month that did not have a video, and rightfully so. I was mourning the passing of my fur baby, which I am still mourning, unfortunately, but each day is getting a little bit better, and some days are harder than others. But yeah, I am really proud of myself that I stuck with my YouTube vlogging and recording, and it's been interesting to see my channel's growth over the past year, as well as being able to see my own progress with my projects. Either I see my own thumbnail or something like that, and I'm like, wow, I really did make a lot of progress on it. So thank you all for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble about my random cross-stitching and quilting and knitting adventures. Oh, I got really sidetracked. So now I'm gonna show some knitting. So, excuse me. One of my first projects that I want to show, where is it? Oh, yeah, I just have a bunch of random bags. And this is a big, if you're wondering what this is a big, giant Teddy Ursa Squishmallow. It is massive. This giant Teddy Ursa Squishmallow my boyfriend bought in Target randomly, and he sent me a picture of it in his shopping cart at Target, and I said, of course you have to get it. But he said he didn't realize that it was this big until he brought it home. We also have a giant Pikachu one, but it's put away right now. So it's just, yeah, it's hanging out here. I would be recording in my Crafty space, but it's currently super messy in there. I am hosting my classroom pet, my turtle, Swimmy, from work. So she's been hanging out in there, and her lights kind of reflect onto the camera screen too much. So that's also why I haven't been recording in there. It's also one of the rooms in my apartment that is not air conditioned. And on a feels of 107 day, I do not want to be in a room without air conditioning. Okay, anywho. I did a recast on of my boyfriend's sweater. So I forget what pattern I was doing previously for him. I think it was a basic, no, it wasn't called basic rib sweater. It was something like men's rib sweater on Ravelry, and I really should have been more cautious about it. It was a sweater made in 4 pieces, front, back, sleeves, and I really didn't want to do that, so I tried to do it in the round, and that didn't quite work out either. And I just got to a point where I was like, I think I'm gonna run into trouble with this once I start the arms and the yoke. Like, I just wasn't feeling it. And so I told myself I'd frog it and then restart, but I haven't frogged it yet since he is 6'6" when he doesn't slouch, and he's a big guy. And so for his project, I have like 14 balls of yarn or something. So I just decided to just start with a new yarn ball. And I went to a cozy pattern for me that I have done before. I think I've made this pattern 2 or 3 times at this point. Oh, I don't have a picture of it finished, but a lot of you might be familiar with it. It's just the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits on Ravelry. It's a really friendly fur sweater. If you've never knit a sweater, I recommend you look into one of the flax sweaters by Tin Can Knits. She has a fingering weight version, a worsted weight, and then I think she even has a DK or something like that. I think she has yarn weights for all 3. Sorry, my legs are falling asleep. And so I'm making the worsted weight version for my boyfriend. I am using some of this Knit Picks Brava Worsted weight, I'm kind of having a little bit of yarn regret. I think it feels really soft and squishy, especially now. That's weird. And when I looked at a lot of projects on Ravelry, a lot of people have used it for sweaters, and you know, it's easy care. I need easy care for this guy. I can't give him wool. He's not gonna wool wash it. He's somewhat allergic to lanolin, which is horrible, even though he gets away with wearing wool socks. And I just need him to be able to throw it in the wash and be able to dry it and whatever. And especially a sweater of his size, I really do not see myself blocking it every time he needs it washed. So I was trying to just pick some easy care stuff. And I mean, it is pretty soft now that I'm touching it, but I'm hoping I'm not gonna have regrets. Oh, and it's in the colorway Asphalt Heather, I believe. So it's going. I know it's hard to see on the needles. I can't really stretch it out right now, but I'm still working on the yoke and the raglan increases. So this is the little garter stitch portion of it. This is the yoke part up here, and then this is the other little garter stitch pattern. I can't speak anymore. Panel. Don't think this one has any short rows in the yoke, so some include like short rows in the yoke so that the back here will lay better on your body, but we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be okay. It might have had them and I have forgotten about them. So that is Austin's Flax by Tin Can Knits. I'm really excited about it. It's funny, it has, like, I don't have any pets anymore, but I still get cat hair from, like, my mom's cat. Like, even if I didn't bring this project over to her house, I still somehow have cat hair in my stuff. Another project or sweater. So, I decided, because it's so funny, so I decided this year that I am going to work on sweaters. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to work on sweaters during the summer. Because if you want them done in the fall or the winter for when you want to wear them, then you have to start them in the summer. You can't start them in the winter. I feel like I've always worked on things backwards, where like I'm in winter season. So all I'm looking at on Ravelry is like sweater patterns, and I'm just excited for all things winter. But to be realistic, like if I start a sweater in the winter, I'm not going to finish it by the winter. And same thing goes with like cute summer or spring tanks. Like I'm not going to finish them if I knit them in the summer. So I think that's my mindset right now, is that I want to work on sweaters in the summer, and like cute little summer and spring tanks or tees in the winter and fall. Speaking of which, I just touched my hair. I did recently chop all of my hair off. So my hair was down past my lower back, and now it is just a short bob, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. But anywho. Okay. Woo! Oh, I didn't say what pattern this is. So, another pattern in that vein that I cast on for myself, and I bought this yarn for it in Rhinebeck 2022. I am doing the Skylight sweater by Tanis Fiber Arts. You can find it on Ravelry. This is what it'll look like when it's done. It is a super duper oversized sweater, so it is supposed to fit you enormously. And this one, I believe, was knit with like a worsted or a DK plus like a mohair, so it made it like a heavy worsted or Aran weight. I did not want to do mohair. I did not want to spend a ton of money. So what I did at Rhinebeck, and I'm having a little bit of, oh, I don't have the yarn tag with me. A little bit of yarn regret again. But I remember the yarn. I don't have the, oh no, I don't have the label. I believe it's a lamb's, oh my gosh. If I remember, I'll put text on the bottom, but it's one of those lamb's wool. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it right now, and I can't use my phone because I'm using it for recording, and my tablet isn't logged into my Ravelry. But anywho, it is like a really, really thick wool. It's like 100% wool or something like that. I like it. I'm finding it soft now. My hands must have just been really dry when I was working on these two sweaters. And I checked Ravelry, and a lot of people have made sweaters with this stuff. It is supposed to wash really, really well. I did wash my swatch with wool wash, and it did soften up a ton. So while it feels a little not very sweatery, like soft for your skin here, I think it'll work out. Plus, I've never used mohair, and that seemed more expensive, and I was able to get a deal for all this yarn on Ravelry. So here's my start. I also want to give a shout out to So Livy Dyes Yarn, or I think it's just So Livy on YouTube. She helped me out with this so much, and I really, really thank her. I originally got inspired to knit this by her YouTube and Instagram. I saw her finish on it, and it is just gorgeous, and so I wanted to make it. So she helped me. I forget, it's like one of the rows after the very beginning, and I had already like restarted this thing like 3 times, and I was so dang confused. So what I think I'm going to do soon though is definitely put in a lifeline and just keep on knitting. So I am still working on the raglan increases, and this is the cable pattern in the middle and on the sides, and it is super duper beautiful. I think the color will be very much me, and I'm hoping I've made it oversized enough. Like, I did my own measurements, and you are supposed to have 13 inches of positive ease. So if you don't know what positive ease is when you're knitting, that means how much space inside the garment you want to give yourself for the sweater to fit. So, you know, if you want something to be skin tight, it would be 0 inches positive ease. So whatever measurements you take on yourself, you don't add anything to that. You want it to fit skin tight. If you want things to fit a little looser, you start adding inches. So you would go up on your bust or chest measurements to get positive ease. When you knit things like socks that you want them to, you know, squeeze you a little bit so that they don't slide down, you would want to do just a little bit of negative ease. But yeah, I think it's going good. I'm excited. I just hope I am making it oversized enough for myself. I think it'll be okay though. And I also don't know if other people have had this. I'm using my wooden Knit Picks interchangeable set of needles here, and on Austin's sweater I'm using the aluminum set, and I've used their needles for years, and they were one of the first when they released their interchangeables. I bought them like right away, and I haven't had any problems with them, but recently I had one cable that separated from the tip, and I have yet to contact customer service. I am hoping they'll replace it, because I think like that shouldn't happen, and I really wasn't working on anything that was super heavy or tugging on the needle. So I'm hoping they'll stand by their stuff. So those are my 2 summer sweaters right now. And then, because I have quit TikTok, I have to say, I quit TikTok about 3 or 4 months ago for my own mental health. Just the doom scrolling of it wasn't healthy for me, and I feel like the way the algorithm works, where it pulls you into your interest or things that you watch. Like, I was on teacher quit talk and some teacher humor talk, but it just really wasn't healthy for me to be either surrounded by teachers who were fed up and quitting their job, or talking about quitting and all the other jobs they were doing, even though I'm happy for anyone that gets out of the field and is doing something they love. but it just felt really isolating for me, as weird as it sounds. Yeah, it just made me really sad that there were so many people struggling with the same things. I mean, the humor is fun, and here and there on Instagram, on Reels, I get into it a little bit, but it's nothing the way it is on TikTok. And also the crafting side of TikTok kind of really wore on me fast as well, because I just felt like my stuff wasn't good enough. It made me really critical of whatever I was working on, and I didn't want to feel that way, or of my own yarn collection or yarn spending or whatever it was. It was really weird, and it made me feel really bad about myself, even though I got to see a lot of cute cat videos and stuff like that. But especially since my cat passing, like, I really don't want to watch cute cat videos. Anywho, this though was something I had queued up like during the TikTok time, and I decided to keep working at it. So if you don't know, this is the strawberry blanket that was like viral on TikTok, and I think it's still trending on Instagram, by Mushy. And she has a great tutorial on YouTube if you want to do this. So this little pattern is so cute because it is legit. I don't know if you can see that, but the little strawberries hang out. Like, they pop out. So the blanket is like a one giant poppet. So it's like completely reversible, and the strawberries pop in and out to like the other side again. So isn't that really cool? I have to admit, I would have more of this done, but I frogged because somehow I just wasn't paying attention to the row repeats, and I was adding a strawberry like every 4 rows, and so it was expanding slowly on the side. So this marker is there to remind me that I've checked up until that point that I still have the same number of strawberries. And I'm hoping this to be a apartment warming gift for someone in my life. I don't want to say who in case they watch. So yeah. And what really drew me to this tutorial is, if you are someone who crochets and has done like a color work blanket or work or anything like that, and you always have at the end a whole bunch of like loose ends to weave in, and that is the part I hate the most. Look at this. She explains how to do this blanket without having to cut any of the ends. So you always will just come back to this side, pick up the next color, and off you go. No cutting ends, no nothing. So this is amazing. She also has a little fall version with pumpkins, which I think my friend Candace is working on, and that is really, really exciting. So I do love this little blanket. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put it on my rotation soon to work on again because I love it. And speaking of blankets, my boyfriend is saying, or my fiance rather, is saying no, but I really think I want to call it quits on my temperature blanket. I'm not feeling it. I'm only in August on it right now, and if I ended my yarn where I am now, it is more than big enough to cover our entire bed and then some. So I haven't decided yet. It's also just a massive project to store. It's sitting in my living room in a fresh direct bag that it has outgrown, and it just doesn't fit. I don't know if I just vacuum bag it, vacuum seal it, or whatever for now to store it until I feel like working on it again, but I feel like every time I bump into it in my living room, I'm just annoyed by it, and I don't really feel like working on it. So, yeah. Anywho, I forgot to say, on my strawberry blanket, I am just doing some good old red heart green. I wish I would have chosen a darker green, but it's too late for that. And some of just their cherry red, which I love. No shame in using some good old red heart for a blanket that probably will get heavy use and needs to be easy care. All right, so I think I only have, I just have one more project. So I know I did 5 projects, and I usually cover 5 projects in my video, but I decided to give you guys a bonus update. So this is my Norwegian fur cardigan that I am making for my niece, either for her birthday in September or for Christmas. I am making, I think I'm making the 6 to 7 years size. She's tiny, she'll grow into it. She's like wearing 3T right now, even though she's gonna be 6 in September. And I am doing this in Malabrigo Rios in Almond Blossom that I purchased at Argyle. So I'll show you guys the yarn ball. This is the yarn ball. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pink. Like not gushing at you pink. Kind of subtle. And reminds me of cherry blossoms, which are my favorite. So that is the yarn. And here is where I am. I think the last time you guys saw this, I had just started one of the sleeves. So I had just started this sleeve. I can even have my progress keepers right here. I was right here last time, and I have finished an entire sleeve. I hate knitting sleeves. I don't know if getting a small pair of circular needles will help, and I know that I am not alone in this, but I hate knitting sleeves. It just takes forever. The work wraps around and around, and you have to like unwrap it. But I finished one sleeve, and I'm so happy, and it does look enormous, but it also is supposed to be styled folded, or can be folded. So I think it'll be just fine. So as you can see, I have my needles ready to start sleeve number 2. I did that while I was at the park with my boyfriend, fiance, while he was busy catching Pokemon. And so I really love the kind of lace on the shoulder increases here. It's almost like I want one of these for myself. I really do love this though. I would totally make this in an adult size. So very cute. I'm thinking that I know I have a little mistake in there, but you can't see it on the other side. There was like somewhere I did like when you're doing garter, not in the round, you have to knit, purl, alternatively, on each row, and somewhere in there I did knit 2 rows, but you can't tell on the other side because it's just garter. I mean, I can tell a little bit, but my niece is not going to be able to tell. I think for the top button, I think I've mentioned this before, I think I'm going to look for like a cute little wooden button or a little wooden cherry blossom petal or flower button for it, and I think she'll really love it. I'm hoping it does not get lost at school. I'm going to put her like name stitched in it somehow. But yeah, she always needs more cardies. I recently made her a sweater. I made her the spotlight sweater, and she's worn that, and from the pictures I've seen of her wearing it, she has room to grow in there. So I decided I'm not going to make her another sweater this year, because so far I've made her a sweater every year, and I think she has room to grow in like all of them. For my nephew this year, my godson, I will update you guys probably in a future video, but I'm making him a little charm pack quilt. So I found these really cute charm packs on, of course, Fat Quarter Shop when I was shopping for supplies for my Minecraft blanket, and I decided to start a quilt for my godson. Hopefully it'll be done. I did bring it to my knit night last week, and I got a lot done because our knit night, one Tuesday out of the month, also joins with the sewing group. And so you can request to have a sewing machine ready for you to use, and I did, and so I got a lot done on my quilt that night. But yeah, I don't know if I'll hold steam on it. I really would like to get it done for Christmas for him of this year. But we'll see. Okay. If you have stuck around this long, I don't have a reading update for you. I have read a lot of books, but I can't remember what they are right now, and I don't have the physical copies. I think I did a lot of ebook finishing, and if I did finish a hard copy book, I think I brought it back to the library right away. But I did restock. If you saw on my Instagram, I did restock my night table, so I have like a stack of my next books to read. It might fall over me in the night, but it'll be fine. But other than that, I hope everyone is doing great. Again, stay safe in this heat if you are in the path of it. Stay cool. If you live anywhere that's like New York City and they have cooling centers, places where you can go to cool down in the air conditioning, please do check on your elderly neighbors, make sure they're okay. I heard mine puttering around still, so I know they're doing well. And just enjoy the rest of July wherever you are. And I will see you guys in my next video.